Hello. We're done with the Realism project and the portraits, and they're all hung up in the hallway. So let's take a trip out there, see how they look, and do some shout-outs. Here we are, down the main hallway, checking out the first bulletin board. And right off the bat, we got some good portraits. First shout-out goes to Lawson for this drawing of Lamar Jackson. Then we got Braden with Bruno Mars. We got Keenan with Tesla. Shout out to Matthew for another drawing of Tesla. Tesla was the scientist who basically invented electricity, and then Elon Musk named his Tesla cars after him in his honor. And shout out to Alejandro for this very well done drawing of XXXTentacion, a rapper who died earlier this year. Shout out to Brooklyn for this drawing of Lily Reinhardt, and shout out to Lily for this drawing of a hand grabbing a cheeseburger. And shout out to Lily again, different Lily, for this drawing of Meghan Markle. Shout out to Elizabeth for this awesome drawing of Melanie Martinez, extremely well done. And shout out to Elizabeth from third period for this drawing of Carrie Job. Shout out to Will for drawing this St. Louis Cardinals baseball player, and to Wilford for drawing another portrait of the rapper X. And shout out to Evan for this portrait of Butch Hartman, the creator and artist behind the television show The Fairly Odd Parents. Shout out to Summer for drawing actress Shay Mitchell, and to Crystal for drawing YouTuber Louis Castro. Wow, the first bulletin board was insane. Let's check out the one on the other side of the hall. Shout out to Andrew for this drawing of Ice Cube. Well done and neat with good shading. Shout out to Emma for this drawing of Emma Watson, that is. And shout out to Guadalupe for this drawing of YouTuber James Charles. And on the next row, we have a drawing by Peyton of country singer Thomas Rhett. And shout out to Jocelyn for this portrait of actress Catherine Pays. Shout out to Alexis for drawing Jennifer Lawrence, otherwise known as Katniss Everdeen. Big shout out to Kerrigan for this drawing of singer Charlie Puth. Shout out to Jocelyn for this drawing of Shay Mitchell. And shout out to Kira for this drawing of Asia Durr. Let's see what we have on the third bulletin board. Looks like we've got an ice cream cone and a drawing of X by Andrew. Shout out to Michael for this drawing of Russell Westbrook with his game face on. And shout out to Ramon, who posted his selfie next to his drawing of XXXTentacion. Shout out to Lauren for drawing UK football player Benny Snell Jr. And shout out to Dylan for coming through with this drawing of a goat. Shout out to Kaylee for another awesome drawing of Asia Durr, a Louisville Cardinals basketball player. Shout out to Reagan for this drawing of Kylie Jenner. And shout out to Evan for this drawing of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Shout out to Jaden for drawing country rap artist Ryan Upchurch. Carter did a great job drawing and shading American baseball legend Babe Ruth. And shout out to Christian for drawing another sports legend, Russell Westbrook. And in keeping with our sports theme here, shout out to Bally for drawing track and field Olympian Allison Felix. Shout out to Rachel for drawing Christian music artist Lauren Daigle. And shout out to Connor for drawing Kyrie Irving. Let's check out the drawings on the other side of the school. We've got Emma Watson by Tori, great shading on that, and another well-shaded drawing of Kevin Hart by Noah. Shout out to Landon for this drawing of Donovan Mitchell. Shout out to Caitlin for her portrait of softball player Delaney Gorley. Shout out to Amias for drawing LeBron James. Shout out to Alex for drawing British YouTube gamer Dan TDM. And shout out to Will for drawing country singer Kane Brown. Here we have a portrait of the rapper JPEG Mafia by Xavian. Shout out to Xavian. And shout out to Jordan for this drawing of The Rock. Shout out to Jet Li for drawing this ice cream cone, especially good work with the cone. And shout out to Tyler for drawing Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. Shout out to Michelle for drawing YouTuber Liza Koshy. And to Jack for drawing rapper X. And to Grant for drawing YouTube gamer Daquan. And shout out to Brandon for another portrait, but a well done one, of XXX Tentacion. And shout out to Brandon R for this drawing of Rudy Mancuso, a YouTuber. Shout out to Oscar and rapper Trippy Red. Shout out to Wyatt and Dan TDM. Shout out to Benny for drawing LA Lakers point guard Lonzo Ball. Shout out to Kaylee for drawing Jen from the YouTube channel Gaming with Jen. Major shout out to Jaren for this well-observed and well-drawn portrait of rapper and actor Ice Cube. And shout out to Andrew for this drawing of a tiger skull. And here we have another great drawing of Dan TDM, this one by Isaiah. Shout out Isaiah. And shout out to Dulce, who drew YouTuber Emma Chamberlain and then got creative to make the most of an accidental tear by tearing it in a few other spots to make for a cool design. Shout out to Abby for this drawing of Jennifer Lawrence, especially good work on the shading on the hair and the braid. And shout out to Anthony for this drawing of soccer player Neymar Jr. Here we have Ariana Grande by Jada Hernandez. Great job observing that head tilt. Shout out Jada. And shout out to another great drawing of XXX Tentacion, this one by Gabby. Shout out to Haley Castle for a beautifully shaded drawing of Emma Watson. And shout out to Tyler for holding it down for the old school gamers with this drawing of Mortal Kombat character Sub-Zero. Here we have Becca's drawing of 21 Pilots drummer Josh Dunn. Shout out Becca. And big shout out to Kelly for a well done drawing of K-pop star Jungkook. Shout out to Alyssa for her drawing of actress Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. And shout out to Irma for another good drawing of Jungkook. We have reached our final bulletin board. Wow, so many good drawings, so many good portraits. We filled up the school. Let's check out this last group and give them some props. First up, we have a cow skull by Mac. Shout out to Mac. Then we have a portrait of Ice Cube. Shout out to Noelia. Then we have the last of the many portraits we've seen of the rapper XXX Tentacion. This one is by Tyler. Although this rapper was murdered earlier this year and had a relatively short career, he's obviously had a huge impact on music and culture, judging by how many students chose to draw him. It's interesting to see a portrait of XXX Tentacion hung up next to a portrait of Tupac Shakur, and shout out to Luke for drawing this portrait. Like X, Tupac was murdered before his time in 1996. It makes you wonder if X's legacy will last as long as Tupac's has. Mackenzie did her final drawing of a horse. It turned out great. Shout out Mackenzie. Shout out to Allie for drawing YouTuber Shane Dawson. Shout out to Braden for drawing these flowers. Shout out to Brian for drawing and shading this ice cream cone. And shout out to Bailey for drawing actor Zac Efron. Shout out to JT for drawing YouTube gamer Ali A. And shout out to Ronnie for drawing Stephen Curry, who looks like may have gotten into some kind of accident involving a bow and arrow. And shout out to Kailani, who did awesome work drawing and shading Emma Watson. And to Kendra, who drew internet personality James Charles. Shout out to Brianna, who also drew James Charles. And our final portrait is by Lisette of Kevin Durant. Shout out to Lisette, awesome work with that, and awesome work to all of y'all. This project turned out amazing, and it was so cool to see you all develop realistic drawing skills and then use them to draw somebody that you thought was important and influential in society. So big props, and let's get ready for our next project.